Alumni Jim since Josh, his oldest son, was arrested by the CSAM in April 2021. Bob Duggar has been involved in numerous problems. A few of his children left the IBLP, their church, and their guiding principles. Some even penned a book exposing their tumultuous history with the family and Bill Gothard's dubious teachings. It's obvious that Jim Bob's standing has declined. Because of this, a lot of Redditors want to know how his loyal children continue to work for him. See the startling conversation by continuing to read. Josh gained notoriety last month after his most recent appeal was turned down by the Supreme Court. In March, the Counting on Alums submitted a certiorari petition. It is an application to have rulings from a lower court reviewed by a higher court. Josh was unable to reverse his case, though, and a lot of people think Jim Bob squandered a significant amount of money. Some claim that the patriarch of the Duggar family might have donated the funds to charities or other abused children. Some Redditors talked about the current state of Jim Bob Duggar's loyal children. They want to know how much they have to tithe Jim Bob over the years, according to the ad. A few of the well-known devoted children include Johanna, Jana, and Jessa. Most of the sons remain close to their father as well. Some commenters, though, believe that after Counting On was cancelled and after all the bad things about their dad were made public, things have changed. Some, however, believe Jim Bob has plenty of other sources of income and doesn't mind receiving less support from his kids. Additionally, it seems that Jim Bob Duggar may run into problems once more because one of his kids is going to publish another book the following year. Who is writing People Pleaser? Breaking Free from the Burden of Imaginary Expectations. It's none other than Jinger Duggar Vuolo. It will discuss how the former cast member of Counting On found true freedom by overcoming her need for approval. It will also cover Jinger's early years and adolescence, during which she conformed to social norms and never had the opportunity to discover her own identity, raising potential concerns about her parents. The Duggar family patriarch, Jim Bob Duggar, rose to fame on reality TV with the programs 19 Kids and Counting On. His command over his sizable family has grown more pronounced and contentious over time. The Duggar kids were brought up in a strict fundamentalist Christian home, following the Institute in Basic Life Principles, IBLP curriculum. This upbringing placed a strong emphasis on humility, homeschooling, traditional gender roles, and rejecting the majority of secular activities. Jim Bob exerted considerable influence over his children's lives in the early years of their television popularity. There were tight guidelines for the Duggar kids to go by when it came to relationships, behavior, and attire. Instead of casual dating, courtships were the norm, and Jim Bob and his wife Michelle kept a watchful eye on these partnerships. The family's religious beliefs were reinforced and the children's exposure to outside influences was limited because they were homeschooled. The facade of total devotion and obedience to Jim Bob's standards started to show weaknesses as the Duggar children grew older, and some of them started their own households. Notably, Jim Bob has been the subject of vociferous criticism from Jill Duggar Dillard and her husband, Dillard. They have charged him with controlling behavior and financial irregularities, especially with regard to the money he makes from the family's reality TV series. Jill has also stated emphatically that she and her spouse are forging their own route, which frequently deviates from what her parents had anticipated. Another of Jim Bob's daughters, Jinger Duggar Vuolo, has likewise turned away from the family's stringent religious rituals. Jinger has adopted a more contemporary lifestyle with her spouse, Jeremy Vuolo, moving to Los Angeles and donning less formal attire. She has been candid about her changing views and the difficulties of growing up with such strict regulations. The quiet on Father's Day. The Duggar family's changing relationships became evident on Father's Day in 2024 when there was stillness. On social media, none of the Duggar kids mentioned Jim Bob in public, which is a sharp contrast to years past when at least a few kids would offer tributes. This silence indicates a substantial shift from their previous steadfast public allegiance to their father and says volumes about the current status of their relationships. Some of the Duggar kids have spoken out more about their arguments and difficulties with Jim Bob, but some of them choose to keep things under wraps. Nonetheless, the overall pattern suggests a shift in favor of increased independence, and frequently a rejection of the strong conservatism that defined their childhood. For example, Jessa Duggar Seewald has continued to have a deeper bond with her parents while demonstrating her ability to forge her own identity. She has a social media presence of her own and has posted details about her life that seem to strike a balance between her upbringing and her own decisions. Significant moral and legal scandals have also damaged the family's reputation, most notably those involving Josh Duggar, the eldest son. Josh's legal issues, which include allegations of child pornography, have exposed the family to a great deal of scrutiny and criticism. Jim Bob's public image has suffered, and his relationships with several of his children have been more strained as a result of how he has handled these situations, including claims that he covered up Josh's previous misbehavior. Michelle Duggar's role. Jim Bob's wife, Michelle Duggar, has generally supported her husband, remaining a silent but encouraging figure. Her significance to the dynamics of the family cannot be understated, though. She has a lot of power because she is a mother of 19 children, but she frequently gives Jim Bob the upper hand in personal and public affairs. The intricate network of interactions among the Duggar family is facilitated by her persistent endorsement of Jim Bob's choices and the family's traditional beliefs. The dynamics of the Duggar family are still unknown. There is a greater chance that some of the Duggar kids will grow up, get married, and start their own families, which puts Jim Bob's stringent supervision to the test. The family's experiences are representative of larger societal movements that challenge and frequently reject excessively strict and authoritarian familial arrangements. The narrative of Jim Bob Duggar's loyal children is one of change and developing bonds. Having grown up in a closely monitored and well-publicized family with strong religious beliefs, several of the Duggar kids are now pursuing careers that frequently diverge from their father's expectations. The road towards self-determination and independence highlights the intricate nature of familial devotion and the influence of upbringing on individual development. For more updates on the Duggar family, click here.